Ladies and gentlemen, you are all very welcome. Please grab a seat. We have a packed agenda this afternoon for this year's annual EDI Network Summit. And of course, our theme this year is European Digital Innovation Hubs. It's themed over the AI continent Europe, strengthening the AI innovation ecosystem. And of course, we know this comes at a very key moment for Europe. We're going to be looking at all the questions around organizational readiness, skills, and governance, with a lot to get through. So I'm delighted to see so many here and such a great audience, and I know you will have a great afternoon and day tomorrow. I'm Jennifer Baker. I'm going to be your moderator, your MC, to try and guide you through this extremely packed agenda. First, let's start with a little bit of housekeeping. I think you'll be able to see that we have got fire exits marked. We've got fire exit there located to the left and the right. You can see them marked here with the signs. Restrooms are located in the silver foyer. There is a quiet lounge if you need a moment to absorb what you've heard or to network or respond to the never-ending emails. You can take a break there. Those are located in the Magritte lounge, which is in the mezzanine. While we're here in the room, speaking of silence, if you could keep your phones on silent, that would be great. On your badge, you'll find a wealth of information. You can find out how to connect to the Wi-Fi. You'll find a QR code there, which will show you the full agenda. And of course, you're going to want that Wi-Fi because we do want you to connect with the wider world, join the conversation on social media, whichever one you prefer to use. Of course, use the hashtag EDISummit20. Just EDISummit26, and make everybody jealous that they're not here. Let's have a look at that map. As you can see, it is quite complicated. There's a lot of different rooms, but we came in on -1, so we're currently at level 0, and many of the parallel sessions will be taking place over on level 2. So it's a little bit of a complicated map, but there will be help and signs to guide you to the different rooms, but do allow yourself a bit of time to navigate around the building over the next day and a half. We have a packed agenda. I've said it many times already. That is just a skeleton agenda. You can find the full agenda on your QR code on your cards, but suffice to say, it is a mixture of fireside chats, of panel discussions, of keynote and inspiring speeches. We also have an awards ceremony, as well as all those thematic group parallel sessions to get through. But I think you've heard enough from me. I think we need an official start to the summit, and we're going to have a video message. She unfortunately wasn't able to be here in person, but has recorded an exclusive welcome message for us today. It's a video from Henna Virkkunen, the Executive Vice-President and European Commissioner for Tech Sovereignty, Security and Democracy. So let's have a look.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, it's a great pleasure to address your summit today. The AI race is not just about who builds the most advanced models. It's also about who adopts AI fastest, who integrates AI into the factories, hospitals, and public services, who ensures every business, no matter its size, can harness AI to innovate and grow. And here's the truth. Collectively, Europe is already leading in this race. The 2025 AI Diffusion Report outlined how Europe leads the world in diffusion of AI, not just in research, but also in real-world use. In addition, Eurostat data shows that the adoption by industry is growing. AI adoption by European companies rose by 50% in 2025 compared to 2024. While the starting point and the progress is reassuring, we cannot rest, because the same data reveals a challenge. 83% of small businesses and 70% of medium-sized enterprises in Europe still are not using AI. But here is also the good news. We have a solution, and it's surrounding you at this summit. The network of European digital innovation hubs is a key tool for closing this gap. Today, we have over 200 digital innovation hubs. They span the continent, from Lisbon to Riga, from Dublin to Sofia. You are Europe's experience and acceleration centers for AI, on the ground, working directly with the businesses that need AI most. You are empowered to show our SMEs how AI offers productive solutions, provide targeted training, and connect them with AI factories and the testing and experimentation facilities. And this is the pathway to turn the 83% into adopters and ensure that no business is left behind. The Commission actively supports you in this mission, not just with funding, but also a simplified regulatory regime for AI and a European AI innovation ecosystem of support. Reinforcing this is the tech sovereignty package published last week. It comprises initiatives to boost European capabilities and readiness. It tackles dependencies across strategic value chains. Part of this package is the Cloud and AI Development Act. It reinforces the role of Digital Innovation Hubs network in supporting the adoption of AI. Achieving technological sovereignty is not about decoupling. It's a strategic and balanced assessment to de-risk from structural dependencies for the Union and European businesses while remaining open to the world. Dear ladies and gentlemen, your meeting today is an opportunity to learn from other hubs, build partnerships, and discover new proven use cases. The businesses and public sector organizations you support are counting on you. Be sure you leave the summit equipped to turn Europe's AI potential into real, widespread adoption. Finally, it is important to remind ourselves that the AI race isn't just about technology. It's about people, about businesses, about Europe's future. With your work, in 2026, Europe can continue growing AI adoption across our economy and in our public sector.
I'm sure she will hear the applause because, of course, we are not just here in the room, we are live streamed across Europe and perhaps even further afield. As the Commissioner said, it is about bringing people together from across the continent. And so that's what we seek to do, both in the summit as well as with the EDI network. Our introductory speech is going to be on the new phase of the EDI network, and she is as Head of Unit for AI Innovation and Policy Coordination in the AI Office in the European Commission, very well placed to tell us all about that. So please welcome to the stage Gosia Nikowska.
Good afternoon, everyone. And first, let me say how wonderful it is to see you all back in Brussels. The network of European digital innovation hubs together again after nearly 18 months. It's fantastic to see the familiar faces and also the new one. You are the ones who make the network so dynamic, and it's great to have you here with us. We have so much to be proud of. In just 3 years, okay, a little bit more, we have delivered over 100,000 services to businesses and public sector organizations across Europe. We helped nearly 50,000 entities. You have completed over 30,000 digital maturity assessments. You have hit and smashed your targets and obtained over 600 badges. Our network spans now over 40 countries with over 200 hubs. Most recently, we welcomed Switzerland to our fold. This is really not a small feat. We have a lot to be proud of. Of course, it has not all been smooth sailing. We have faced our share of challenges. Partners moving on, bureaucratic hurdles, IT systems that didn't work. Sometimes the services were not finding the right clients. And last, but certainly not least, the complexities of co-funding. But here is the thing. All the challenges we faced forced us to adapt, to learn, and to be better equipped for the future. We have built something that is much more resilient than what we started with. Have we solved every problem? Far from it. But we are better equipped to face the challenges that are coming. Together, we have not just built a network. We have laid a foundation rooted in collaboration and deep understanding of what the businesses and public sector organizations really need. And we have rolled up our sleeves to deliver it. This network relies on the insights that you share. What works, what doesn't, what still needs improvement. Your perspectives help inform European policies. Not always a quick fix is possible, but the value lies in the exchange. So what is next? As we kick off phase 2, the bar is high, but so is our ambition. And you have already shown us that you are ready for this next chapter. In your proposals, we have seen strengthened AI capabilities, designed smarter client journeys, and you have linked up with the AI innovation ecosystem. AI factories, testing and experimentation facilities, sandboxes, and other initiatives, many of them who are with us today. Crucially, you have kept the focus on providing European solutions where they can make the most impact. What is important, your work is not happening in a vacuum. Far from it. Our network is front and center in the EU AI strategy. AI Continent Action Plan coined the term AI Experience Centers. And the Apply AI strategy highlighted your pivotal role in driving AI adoption across Europe. And just last week, a new tech sovereignty package, which includes the Cloud and AI Development Act, made it clear. EDIHs are a cornerstone of Europe's AI future. Cloud and AI Development Act is about building homegrown AI excellence, ensuring Europe has the computing power, the skills, and the innovation to compete globally, while keeping the technology human-centered. This act proposes a more coordinated approach to AI uptake from national and regional levels. And guess what? You, this time named Experience and Acceleration Centers, are the engines to make it happen. It's not about the name, it's about what you do. Now, the legislation takes time. We are looking at least 2 years before this act comes into force, but the message is clear. Your work is already shaping Europe's AI landscape. Okay, but what about funding? The negotiations on the multi-annual financial framework are still underway. The Commission has put on the table its proposal, but nothing is set in stone yet. That said, the fact that our network features both in the digital window of the European Competitiveness Fund and in the tech sovereignty package gives us real cause for optimism for EDIS 3.0. Now, we need to take everything that we have learned and make this network stronger, smarter, and more impactful. The question is how? First, collaboration. We have only just scratched the surface of what is possible. We have this vision that any company from any country can reach out to any EDI. This has not materialized yet. The potential is huge. How can we make it a reality? Second, scaling up a success. You are already delivering outstanding solutions. We have seen them, and we are going to celebrate some of them later today. But how do we take them from the local level to benefit companies across Europe? And third, financial sustainability. There is no question about the value you provide. The quality of what you offer is undeniable. But it is not enough. We need to make sure that clients recognize it and are willing to invest in it. It won't happen automatically. We'll need to work together to make it a reality. This is your chance to shape EDIS 3.0. If you've got any ideas on collaboration, sustainability, or scaling up, or anything else that can improve our network, we want to hear them. The time is now. Before I wrap up, and here I would like to ask my colleagues to put the slide on, I would love for all of you to join our first ever European AI Innovation Month. From 14th of October until 17th of November, led by the Commission and the Irish Presidency of the Council, gives us a chance to showcase AI innovation made in Europe through online and in-person events, through success stories and sectoral deep dives. Some of you have already put forward ideas for events. Thank you. If you are interested, we invite you to scan this QR code and make other proposals and get involved. I would really like to see the best of our network here during this AI Innovation Month. The month will culminate with Apply AI Summit on 17 November here in Brussels. It will mark the first anniversary of the Apply AI strategy and will celebrate European AI achievements, exploring what's next and help us build the continent as a leader in trustworthy and human-centric AI. The road ahead is exciting. I'm sure you are all excited as we are, and you are driving it. We see your energy, we see your creativity, we see your resilience, and some of them are working in incredibly difficult conditions. Together, we are not just supporting AI adoption, we are shaping Europe's digital future. So I'm looking forward to the conversation and ideas that will come out from this summit. Let's make these next 2 days as inspiring and as productive as the work you do every day. So, and the next phase will be the best yet. Thank you very much and enjoy the summit.
Thank you, Gosha. And of course, it will not be the last we've seen of Gosha here on the gold stage. We will talk to you a lot over the next couple of days. Our keynote speech on the future of AI is from the co-founder and CEO of DAIN Studios, a Finnish-German AI consultancy. She focuses on transforming AI from experimental pilots into scalable, dependable business capabilities. And before DAIN, she led the global data science and analytics teams at Nokia and Sonoma. And in 2018, Business Insider named her one of the 32 coolest and most influential women in Nordic tech. So please do welcome Ulla Kruhse-Lehtonen. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. So, as you heard, not only more influential, but also cool. So I am truly privileged and excited to be here with you today. And the topic, of course, the future of AI, is very ambitious. So I decided to bring it down to today, where we are today and what we should be doing. I am talking about, for the next 20-25 minutes, 3 parts. So a bit where we are with the compute side, the supply side today, then talking about the utilization, and then something I'm going to give you something very practical that we also do with our consultancy customers and how we help them think about AI. And starting with Bill Gates. So 3 years ago, when the LLMs had just come, he made the following statement: AI is as fundamental as the microprocessor, the PC, the internet, and the mobile phone. Entire industries will reorient around it. Businesses will distinguish themselves by how well they use it. And I think here the most interesting word is how well. So he doesn't say if they use it, in case, they say how well. It is all about that, how well we use it. And by the way, yeah, we didn't align with Commissioner Virkkunen here, but I have very much the same message as she was saying on the video earlier. So a couple of words about the infrastructure. A lot of very, very good work going on there. But of course, everybody is. The Americans, the Chinese, they're also investing into this. So the 200 billion by the AI continent strategy, so roughly 50 million public money out of that. the AI factories, those 19 factories, and then the antennas, the gigafactories, 20 billion euros to that, the 5 that are in the planning, and then of course the apply AI strategy of skills, which are focusing very much on the industry and the skills and all that. So a lot of things are happening there. However, the gap is big. So the 20 billion, the gigafactories, compared to what the Americans are doing. So the Stargate, $500 billion US dollars. It's a private enterprise, but or initiative, but led by the or endorsed by the White House. And they also have, if we think of computing power, so one site in Texas is already as much as the 5 sites now planned for Europe. So there's a lot happening there. And then you take the hyperscalers, the cloud infrastructure providers, and this is just 700 billion. It's just 1 year. It's just this year how much they're investing into that. And if we think of the capacity, so today 75% roughly of the advanced AI computing capacity is in the US. 15% is in China and 5% in Europe. And so what is happening in Europe, you guys know this very well. Of course, Mistral doing great, really frontier level company, comparable to the Americans, really nice ARR growth. And then some smaller ones that Alpha and those others that are focusing more now to certain industries, the national niche, and then the consortium track, which is more related to research, linguistics, and these kinds of topics. So lots of happening there. And now this comes actually my main point, what I would like to emphasize. So despite seeing these figures, and they look a bit bleak if you just think of them, but it isn't really about who builds the AI infrastructure. It is about who uses it. I work quite a bit with American companies these days. And of course, yes, you have the hyperscalers, that they are ahead of the curve. But if you look at the SMEs, if you look at those regular companies in whatever industry, they're the same as us. There's no difference. They're wondering about the very same things. So which tools should we use? What should our people know? How do we transform the company? How do we govern all this? What's with our data? How do we ensure the data is in good shape and so forth? So I'm very much advocating this, that yes, in Europe, we need to build our own solutions. We need to focus on the sovereignty, but at the same time, we cannot wait. We really need to adopt this because that's the only way how we can make our products, our processes, our services world-class. And on this here, the adoption gap, now we heard slightly different figures earlier, depends a bit when, which source and at what time. This is now from the Brookings Institute, US AI usage 43%, EU average some 32%. So yes, there's a difference, but it's not super large. And on the enterprise side, so this is from Eurostat, some 20% of European enterprises, and I think you mentioned 50% increase, which is, if you calculate here from a year ago, it was 13.5%. So it's increasing a lot all the time. And there's these enterprise figures, they hide quite some differences between countries. So if you look at the Nordic countries, they are ahead of the curve from the average. The Eastern European countries are lower. So what's the learning here is, of course, to bring everybody up and to the same level or higher level as we go. And there is also this adoption gap between the big and the large companies. So you see here the large enterprises, they have much better resources. The AI adoption rate is already quite high at 55%, whereas with the small enterprises, it's only 17%. So, and this is something, of course, which exactly this audience here can address. So I think this is, when you ask the SMEs what they see as barriers, it is exactly what EDI also responds to. So 71% say lack of skills, lack of expertise, 53% unclear legal consequences, and 49% data protection concerns. And then you have, yes, the scaling and finances and so forth. So it is about the training and the skills. It's helping, giving guidance in the sandboxes and how AI Act, GDPR, and so forth. Testing before investing, as I read it, is that first don't boil the ocean, but start with something small and check that it works, and then do the big investments. And of course, the whole financial jungle is something where help is always needed. So, and now moving on to this. The third part, the adoption side of things. And here I see that the real differentiation now in AI adoption is that we're not just doing the old work and automating that, but we really redesign. So if we go a little bit back where we are today, so AI has been evolving very quickly. Of course, now what's the definition of AI? I'm using here, it's especially in reference to the large language models. My own background is in data science and machine learning, actually, so coming from the traditional side, but in this context, speaking about the language models. So, a lot of automation. Sometimes people also ask, so RPA, we had it already a long time ago. What's the difference? Yes, that can be seen as also the first step here. LLM chatbots, how the first ones came out, maybe ChatGPT if you only use that. Co-pilots, different one usage applications. And then we move to the agentic side. So this year has all been about agents, and it's continuing. Agents are everywhere, and you can have like a single agents that are dedicated to certain types of jobs. But now, of course, the real power comes when you put agents together. When you have orchestrated agents that are trained to collaborate, that do complicated workflows together. And that not all also work across companies, so or in an ecosystem. So agents don't only need to work within a certain company or be a personal chief of staff. They can also collaborate, and in the future more and more. But these are still early stages. There are use cases there, but it's not where everybody is yet. And how I would like to talk about now the AI is really going from retrofitting to redesign. So the retrofitting, what is meant with that? So we take a current process and then we use AI to make that process better. You can already get very good input or improvements of that. So if you do coordination, if you do the workflow, but you do it quicker, you do the steps faster, you can get quite considerable improvements. However, the big improvements, this 10-fold, 2 to 10-fold, come when you start thinking of AI first. If there wasn't legacy, how would you really do this? How would you start thinking about it? So you would start designing processes for agents you would make knowledge explicit, machine-readable. This is also interesting if we think of us humans, that there's a lot of tacit knowledge in our brains. How can we make that proprietary knowledge actually usable for AI? And then this agent-to-agent communication in real time, as I mentioned, and this is a fundamentally different workflow. So, to summarize, agentic workflows aren't just faster versions of human workflows. It's entirely different systems of reasoning execution. I'll show an example. So this is a case, this was done for Linde, so the German global gas engineering manufacturer, of course a huge company. It already done a couple of years ago, but the thing is, we have results now that it has been used. So they have security auditors. They go to their engineering facilities and they check that everything is as it should be. And then they interview people, they take measurements, they go back to the office and they write a report. And writing this report used to take 24 hours, some 3 to 4 days. Then we built them an agent, orchestrated agent systems that has access to all the old reports, learns from there, takes now the meeting, the notes, and then drafts an agent that then drafts the report based on those. And that improved the speed from 24 hours to only, dropped it from 24 hours to 2 hours, which means that now the AI does the actual report generation and then human has the role of review. And this has led to much more happiness within the team, because now they can focus on actual analysis, improvements, not only making more reports, but really thinking beyond what does this actually say? What is it that we can recommend to the facilities? How should we do things better in a more fundamental way? So when thinking of the now where to get started, so we always like to talk about first about business objectives. So not only like now I have this technology, what can I do with the technology, but what I really want to do. It also ties to your agentic AI vision. What is meant with that is that it makes sense for an enterprise, even a small one, to think, where do I actually want to be here? So how do we want to differentiate with AI? So in the bigger sense. And this doesn't have to be now a big exercise, but it's still taking consciously thinking about it, how AI will actually transform us. And then you start thinking of those very practical opportunities. One good way is to think in terms of value chains. So what are all these areas that we're doing? Are we procurement, supply chain, logistics, sales and marketing, customer service, and then all the support functions, IT, HR, finance, and so forth. This applies again to companies in different sizes. Think about what are the cases that would make sense, and then you select the workflow. Something like, it might be the customer service workflow, it might be your sales and marketing, it might be some logistic thing. It can also be something that you do just for yourself, some lead generation for your clients or so. But something that has impact and that it's painful, it's tedious, it's a lot of manual steps, and then you start speccing it out. And this is the methodology that I would like to leave you with after this meeting. It's called the agent methodology. And how it starts is A stands for audit. So let's start with being brutally honest about how we do things today. So what are the handovers? So maybe it's just, Mary gives something to John. Let's write it down, let's document it. This is what we do today. But also, like, what data are we using? Which systems are we using? What's happening here? And then you go to the gauge stage. And there you're thinking about, again, now, not like how do we agentify the current stages, but what are the actual jobs to be done? So what really matters in this workflow? What is the outcome that we want to have? Again, outcome, not output. Output would be this, like, let's send more emails, let's have more reports, but really the outcome. And so you think of that. And then after that, when that's clear, you go to the engineering phase. And that's where you think of the agents. So what kind of agents could I have here? What could they do? Could I have like research agents? Could I have, as in my example, then this verification agents, summary agents, maybe you have some calculation agents. You can have different type of agents depending on use case. You also think of what data they're using, what systems they're using. But you're really thinking now agents as the primary actor. And in the next phase, the navigate, now you go a bit step back. Now you think, okay, what about the guardrails? And maybe agents don't do it all. Maybe even if my engineering phase would say that, hey, let's just automate everything and do everything with AI agents, maybe it's isn't feasible. There are all kinds of rules, and depending on the industry also, regulated industries, finance, healthcare, any industry for the matter, you cannot just have autonomous agents run around. You need to check what are the parts that humans do. So you put that in. And then you track. Track relates very much to gauge, because in gauge you set your goals. So in track you're actually measuring and you're iterating it. So am I doing the right things? What should we improve? And so forth. So doing this kind of, it's a fairly simple model, but it's quite powerful once you really start thinking about these areas in depth. And what I like about it is that it isn't technology first, it's process first, and it's business first. It's about what we want to do, because technology is changing so fast. There's every month, if not every week, there are new models, new applications. So that's something you will figure out and you will use, but it's not where you start. And this is another nice way to think about it is to do the so what test, just emphasizing, like, if you have this kind of thinking, I will complete reviews faster, or experts spend less time on admin, always ask yourself the question, what does it matter? So what? So what do we gain with that? And once you know that the answer to the so what questions, then this is then you're there. That's a good goal. And why this all comes back to EDIHs? You have here your 4 core services: test before invest. Maybe these days also continuous testing, training and skills, support for investment, and innovation system, ecosystem networking. And that's what I would like to encourage you to do for yourselves, for your organizations, but then to take to your companies and challenge them now. So what is the agent? Use the agent framework to go through their processes, because that, and then start implementing. And of course, when you implement, you don't implement necessarily everything at the same time. You can start it also in phases, but you will always see, you have the big picture in your mind where you want to go, and then you do it stepwise. And so this way, we will also, as Europe, become more competitive. And here, my last slide. It's not about the infrastructure. It is about the adoption. It's about the transformation. And that starts with building the infrastructure, the long term, but now what we can all do now for the future of AI in Europe is to to adopt, and then redesign. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ulla. We're going to quiz you a little bit more because I think you've made some excellent points in your presentation, but we can delve, I think, a little bit deeper. So thank you for staying with us. Let's start with a question around implementation and the need for changing company culture. So in your presentation, you made a distinction between AI adoption and AI transformation. And the latter requires a lot more thinking, a lot more work. What does that really demand of the executives in practice?
This whole redesign topic, it requires that the executives are serious about it, that they, because the vision comes from leadership, and the endorsement comes from leadership. Otherwise, it is quite difficult for the organization to really go through transformation. It also requires some investments, to be honest. And it requires a culture of experimentation, so also accepting failures and that not everything always works the first time around, that this iterative culture where you have a goal, but it's okay to also to make mistakes.
I mean, that's quite a radical idea in some businesses. There is this fear of failure that's quite natural. It does require a lot to change that idea, to change that fear. And perhaps a different way of thinking about how the actual work gets done if failure is allowed to happen. So you mentioned the leadership and the fact that leaders need to make the change. But is there beyond that a company culture, a feeling, a vibe, as Gen Z would say, in terms of how they get work done?
Yeah, I think one of the important things is also that many companies are siloed, and that the leadership makes an effort to bring those silos together. Because also, like I mentioned in the agent framework, it works the best when you have people from different units. So the domain experts together with the data experts, together with the AI experts, and from since you're looking at processes, so it cannot only be one department, but you need to possibly have people from different departments coming together, and that also may be quite radical in some cases. And then one second point is that these days, of course, people tend to be a bit worried about AI. They are thinking about their jobs. And so that's also, certainly there will be some changes. I mean, need to be honest about it. So technology, that's how it works. You have a technological shift and jobs come and jobs go. But then the leadership that they create an atmosphere where you, like my example with Linda, that hey, we try to elevate your job. You can do more. You don't just need to do these manual things that actually you find quite annoying. Maybe some people like them, but usually people don't. So that it doesn't mean that now you don't have any job. So there's a lot of this transfer of mindset. I think from the leadership perspective, but of course for each and every one of us, that we also need to have our own mindset in place. That hey, this is coming. So accelerate the inevitable is a good phrase here. That it's coming anyway. So what can I do for myself? Also, how can I prep up my skills in order to have the right skills for the future?
I mean, I guess that's also about getting a lot of buy-in. This morning I was talking about AI, and there was a lot of fear in the room, and yet other people were saying, oh, I have so much work. If I could clone myself, I could get twice as much work done. But in a way, if you use the right agentic tools, you can.
Yes.
Now, but there's a difference between big companies and small companies here. So let's address that. You said that EDIs are particularly well placed to help SMEs. Expand a little bit on that. Why is that?
As we saw, the difference between big and small companies is still quite large. In some ways, somebody once asked me also about this agent. Does it work if you don't have any legacy, if you're just a startup? Of course it does. You just drop the A, so then it's just gent framework. But even if you're not a new startup, typically entrepreneurs, they are dealing with a million different things. So the job descriptions aren't as defined as in big companies. So it's the very much the same topics there. And the good thing is that you don't typically need steering groups, you don't need big discussions and working groups. You can get started, and I believe you guys, EDIHs here, are in the position, if it's a willing organization, then actually really sit next to them and see how they do their job today, who does what, and then redesign it. How it could optimally be done. And that's of course also like start somewhere which is quite practical. Don't take the most difficult case first, but then that also then builds faith that, hey, this works, and I want that too. And now these days, of course, one thing, I mentioned this chief of staff, it's quite an interesting concept. I believe Sam Altman was also advocating for that he has developed a bit this digital twin that you mentioned for himself. So in addition to doing this enterprise workflows, another nice way is then for each of us to think like, hey, could you clone yourself? So what are the things that I actually do? And then start there, and if that works, then maybe scale.
Yeah. I mean, there is a lot of effort needed to scale up. I mean, we always say this is constantly a problem we see in Europe. We're great at starting up, but maybe there's still quite a big gap between the big and smaller companies. I mean, what do you say to people when they say, how do we address this scale-up gap?
Well, something that could be done maybe here is the productization of things. So like you, Gosia, mentioned in the beginning, the importance of collaboration. And now I don't know exactly how well you do it this day, but it's since I come from consultancy, and that's always, I guess, a little bit the same challenge that you go after individual topics, but to really scale this in Europe, to have some common ways of working, and also common maybe industry-specific approaches and packages. So if you can package those your offerings to the extent it's possible. So somebody comes up with something in Sweden, and maybe in Poland there might be exactly the same problem, and same in France. So make the network in a very practical manner, such that there would be common assets. That's how big consultancies work. That's how McKinsey works, or Accenture, or these companies. They have common knowledge bases. So maybe it's something now in the AI area to also think that not everybody needs to reinvent the wheel, so to say.
Exactly, work smarter, not harder. The AI capabilities are moving at a pace faster than most infrastructures can adapt to. I've got a really long list here of things like AI agents, new model releases, shifting use cases, cybersecurity threats, evolving and emerging cybersecurity threats. All of these things mean that the needs of companies are shifting really quite a lot. And what they're bringing to EDIHs might look quite different in 12 months from now, not to say 6 months from now. How can the EDIHs keep up with all of these evolving challenges that companies, and indeed that public administrations face?
Yeah, that's of course a very good question, and a question for everybody. How do you keep up with the big changes? And one, that's in some ways why I am also recommending this the workflow approach, because that doesn't change, not that quickly. So if you start from there, what are we actually after? And then if we think of, for example, the technologies that you can set up an architecture and technologies that can be changed. That is similar to microservices, that even if there are new models, there are new tools, you can shift those. You don't need to now redesign everything. Because I think that's also something that some people are worried to get started, because they think, what if I invest in the wrong tools now? What if this is totally obsolete in 6 months' time? And now I've spent a lot of money setting this up. And it's a real good question, but now taking it into account that some ways, if you define your architecture, your processes, so that you can swap things as they come to the market, and still sometimes it might be that some things you to realize that this is now old technology. And that's just how it happens. But at least you have the learnings, because otherwise, if you're just waiting and leaning back and hoping that one day there will be the perfect solution, then you will keep doing that. And then the gap just gets wider and wider between those that are taking in those learnings and are trying out and testing everything, and then those that keep waiting.
I mean, I suppose there is a balance to be struck between being just that really early adopter or a fast follower. And sometimes if you're a little bit more reticent, depending on your budgets, of course, you can have that leapfrog effect where you actually go straight to what it is you really need without obsolescence in the meantime.
Yeah, I guess there was this there's a nice example about it's always good to be the second mouse.
Finally then, as we sort of look to the future and a bit of advice from you and your experience, I can feel the coolness rubbing off down the hair. What is something that might be missing from the current offerings by EDIHs, something that you want to throw out there as a bit of outside the box thinking?
Well, I would like to encourage you to actually take this the agent methodology and think about your processes. Like, how do EDI work? How do you do things today? And how would you redesign them? How could you use AI and AI agents to do them better? And which parts would be done by agents, and where would you humans do? I think that might be quite a nice exercise to see that. So can you improve your own processes? And that's on the network level. And then secondly, everybody as a network, and to establish something, I don't know how it's called, and maybe you have something like that, but a knowledge base, a marketplace for those replicable offerings. That you can, the same problems, take the same problems and then find solutions, and so that people can then use when they are dealing with their clients. So that will be my recommendations.
Ulla Kruhse-Lehtonen, thank you very much. Can we get a 1 minute of applause?
Thank you very much. Thank you.
We're approaching our showcase point of this afternoon, where we're going to give you a sneak peek of some of the nominees for the awards. But before we get there, we're going to have another keynote inspirational speech from a visionary leader with 15 years of C-level experience under her belt. She holds a master's degree in finance and international marketing. And under her leadership, the Kharkiv IT cluster has united more than 1,000 IT companies and partners and delivered more than 80 transformational projects. She's a passionate advocate for innovation and women in technology. So please welcome Olga Shapoval, Executive Director of the Kharkiv IT cluster from the Eastern Ukraine EDI. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's a big pleasure to be here today and to present my speech today. And I would like to start with that fact that when you speak about digital transformation, you sometimes speak about AI, automation, and other things, but in Ukraine, we discover that it could be more, even more, not only about processes or competitiveness, it's also about resilience. And now we live in now we all live in the time of disruption. So disruption became just like ordinary life, became normal. For Ukraine, of course, in some higher level, but for all world and for Europe, disruption became very, very big part of our life. So geopolitics, cyber risks, AI transformation, it's always very important when it's a part of somebody's life, but it's very tricky when you need to do it with you and with your businesses, with your network, with your ordinary life. And the quick question is how to adapt quicker than transformation comes to your life. Oh, sorry. So Eastern Ukraine European Digital Innovation Hub is situated very, very near to frontline, and we serve SMEs, very different types. We serve industrial SMEs, we serve service SMEs, we serve communities, we serve cities, but all of them are in their one situation, in very uncertain situation. And we used to have our innovation hub as a backbone for their resilience. So digitalization and well-designed digitalization became a resilient infrastructure because it provides continuity, it provides coordination, it builds trust, thanks to network, thanks to people-to-people cooperation. Because when we speak about like business-to-business cooperation, government-to-business cooperation, different types of cooperation, in the end of the day, it's people-to-people cooperation. And people-to-people cooperation is always built through the trust. And this trust is a basis for adaptation, is a basis for operational resilience, it's a basis for innovation, because when you build through your network really outstanding communication and you prove your trust with your real cases, then you can innovate in any type of crisis. So that is why the role of our innovation hubs, it's really helpful role to build ecosystems, because innovation hubs reduces fragmentation. They really help to support regions, to be like an agent of transformation and a backbone for transformation. Because, for example, when you speak about AI, sometimes you speak about augmentation, so AI as a helper for you to do your ordinary work. But when we start to speak about AI as for automation or for transformation of processes, we speak not only about instruments, but about business models, about business procedures, and it's much more complicated thing if we go to the level of SMEs, if we go to the level of communities. So let me give you two short examples from our side. So our hub is situated very near to the front line, but still we are living in quite big cities, in quite big communities, and our SMEs very practically oriented. So in Europe, SMEs are very much oriented on the result. In Ukraine, they are very, very much oriented on the result, and also we have quite high level of digitalization, and it's spread into community service, into state service, and also into our SMEs life. But still our cases and all our demand from SMEs is built on the level of their challenges and changes. And that's why we try to serve them with and give them a digital response to give them quicker answers to their everyday needs. So that is why, as a result, we have like all services, all industries are still working, even during like air alarms, even during some, after like 10, 15 minutes after some accidents, and it became like unnormal resilient, but it's still reality for our people more than 4 years for now. So it's very important because everybody knows and remember about crisis during COVID. It was like not so many years enough from now, yes, but it's pushed us to think, okay, how we can re-innovate our ordinary life. Any crisis push us to reinvent ordinary life and work remotely, build innovation inside even very, very small teams. So for SMEs, it works very good, and you are the backbone of this. The second case is the case for city resilience. And this case, we are very proud that it's like one of the nominees, and this case is built on their example of city near the front line. More than 1 million people lived in the city and continue to live and continue to operate as like you see in Brussels. You cannot imagine sometimes this, but we start with a strategy, and Deloitte developed for Kharkiv the first in the world strategy of smart city for new generation based on urban resilience. And we have 9 pilots, and 1 pilot is a pilot for Kharkiv Emergency Center. So you could imagine like a very, very deep on the ground, people communicating and coordinating with each other, and it's helped with like support with video, with AI tools, with many, many things. And like performance is, and it's very important to be perfect in performance, but in crisis, fast reaction, very fast action, overperform any perfect solution. So 3 lessons we learned. Digital infrastructure, well-built digital infrastructure, is resilience infrastructure. Adoption speed really matters more than perfection. And ecosystem outperform isolated institutions. It's very important to understand for innovation hubs. So what this means for us? It means that we become adaptive providers. We became really agents of innovations, not only by institutions, but with ecosystems we built, with people we connected. And we see that really Europe needs stronger regional ecosystems, more integrated, more interoperability, and we really could do it. And in the end, so resilience is really built together. Resilience empowering when it's sharing. So I do believe that innovation hubs are the backbone of European resilience. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your inspiring words and for setting the tone for our awards finalists showcase. So these awards, as I'm sure you may well know, were selected through a structured multi-stage assessment process led by DTA in collaboration with the University of Bologna and the European Commission from almost 70 submitted success stories. So that's a lot of success that's out there. We're going to have a look now at some videos. We'll look at the first 3 videos for the Excellent Awards. And our first nominee is the Differentiated Alert System for Kharkiv Emergency Department in eastern Ukraine. This system enables more targeted and timely emergency warnings by distinguishing between local and regional threats, and therefore helping to undo and reduce unnecessary alerts, while at the same time maintaining public safety. A little bit complex, but let's have a look at the video to find out more.
Kharkiv lies just 30 kilometers from the front line. For years, the city relied on Soviet-era sirens that signaled only one thing: danger. Every alert shut Kharkiv down, sometimes for 10 hours at a stretch. The Eastern Ukraine EDI set out to change that. With the city's Department for Emergency Situations and the Kharkiv IT cluster, the hub designed and deployed a differentiated alert system that tells residents what is approaching: a missile, a drone, or an aviation bomb, and where. Alert times have fallen by up to 70%. In a city that refuses to stand still, the Eastern Ukraine EDI has shown that resilience is now the most powerful form of sustainability.
Yeah. So our second nominee is AI Instead of Waste from EDIHs in Germany. And this success story presents the use of predictive analysis and analytics to reduce food waste in school catering services. Let's find out more.
In Münster, Germany, the family-run caterer StadtKüche serves 22,000 fresh school meals a day. Until recently, much of that food was thrown away, simply because parents forgot to cancel. EDI Dortmund changed that. Working with StadtKüche, the hub builds an AI tool that draws on 4 years of order history, weather patterns, and seasonal illness data to forecast cancellations meal by meal. Kitchens now prepare what is actually needed, cutting food waste, cost, and carbon emissions. In one canteen kitchen, AI Instead of Waste shows what European AI can really mean: technology that works for people and the planet.
And our third and final excellence nominee is Advancing Peatland Restoration through Digital Modelling. Crowd in Motion EDI in Austria is using digital modelling and prototyping to support public understanding of peatland ecosystems and their restoration. Let's have a look.
Peatlands store more carbon than the world's forests, yet they remain one of Europe's least understood ecosystems. EDI, Crowd in Motion, set out to change that. Together with the Tyrolean consultancy Sontag Plus and the team at FabLab.Tyrol, the hub designed and prototyped Peat, an interactive mechanical digital model that brings a bog to life. Sensors, water, light, and a phone-controlled lifting mechanism reveal how a peatland stores carbon, retains water, and what happens when it is drained. Now in production for schools and museums across Austria, peat turns an invisible ecosystem into something citizens can see, touch, and understand.
So 3 very worthy nominees, and I think demonstrating a difference in the breadth of the different work that's going on. And if you can see over there, those are the trophies that will be awarded later today. You'll see that there's more than 3 of them, because we also have a special mention for Excellence Awards in the Best Green Initiative, and there will be 2 awards for Best Improvement in Digital Maturity, 2 categories there, one on the highest delivered volume of services based on key performance indicators, and the second on the strongest measurable impact in advancing SMEs' digital maturity. So several awards to go out this afternoon. But we also have the EDI Community Awards, and that these are 5 nominees, but these will be voted for by everyone. So you here in the room, those joining us online, will be able to vote for your favorite nominee. I'll explain how in just a moment, but first, once again, we're going to take a look at the videos showcasing those nominees. Our first video in the candidates for EDI Community Awards is Empowering Energy Consumers through IoT and Blockchain. And that is from Spain, and it's from DIH for CAT. And they're using the Internet of Things and blockchain technologies to support a more decentralized and transparent energy model. Let's have a look.
Digital Innovation Hub for Catalonia. worked with an energy tech company to give households real-time access to their own energy data and control over their home energy assets. Most households have no real visibility over how, when, or why they use energy. Together, they built and tested a solution that changed that. In practice, households started using nearly twice as much of their own generated energy, and their reliance on the grid dropped by a third.
Turning to Italy for our second nominee in this category, EDIH has supported micro and small farming enterprises using innovative digital solutions for sustainable farming, helping to improve overall sustainability and operational efficiency. Let's have a look.
Circular Health EDI is an Italian-European digital innovation hub, working with some of the smallest farming enterprises in the country. Micro and small farms often don't have the resources to go digital on their own, so Circular Health EDI brought the tools to them. Through targeted digital services such as smart irrigation systems, farmers are now making better decisions, using resources more efficiently, and farming in a way that's built to last.
The third nominee comes from EDIHs and EDI Madrid region in Spain, and it's an AI-based robotic help in social services, pioneering an AI-based social robot to support service delivery in social care facilities, supporting people with cognitive or mental disabilities.
Robic is the first certified AI-based social robot in Europe, designed to support people living with autism, dementia, and cognitive impairments. It was developed in Spain and first introduced in Colegio Gaudem as part of EDI Madrid region's Test Before Invest service. Through a collaboration with EDI Northeast Bohemia, Robic was introduced in a care home in Jablonec nad Nisou in the Czech Republic. Thanks to Robic's structured exercises in communication, motor, and cognitive skills, the caregivers have more time to be truly present with the people they care for.
Our fourth nominee is from Spain, hyperspectral imaging technology to detect gristle and other foreign bodies in meat products. So this is the application of hyperspectral imaging to improve quality control in the meat processing sector for foreign bodies that are already difficult to identify with conventional inspection methods. So using the advanced technology there. Let's have another look.
In food production, the smallest oversight can have the biggest consequences. IRIS, a Spanish European digital innovation hub, worked with Cárnicas Iruña to tackle exactly that by using hyperspectral imaging technology to detect gristle and foreign bodies better than X-ray and metal detectors. The result is safer products, fewer complaints, and customers who can trust what ends up on their plate.
And our final and fifth nominee is Towards Simplified Regulatory Compliance from HHFin Finland, which is a digital tool that helps innovators and smaller enterprises to navigate complex EU regulatory requirements, something we know about in Brussels. Let's have a look at that video.
Health Hub Finland tackled one of the most common barriers facing innovators and small businesses across Europe: navigating complex regulations without getting lost. They built a digital tool that helps people understand which rules apply to them right from the start of their project. For small businesses without large compliance budgets, that kind of clarity can be the difference between a project moving forward or being shelved altogether.
So I hope you all agree, 5 very worthy nominees from very differing sectors. You will be able to vote. Indeed, I say, everyone, get your smartphones out and scan the QR code there that you can see on the screen. If you're joining online, you can also scan that code on the screen or go to slido.com and vote for your favorite nominee. The voting will be closed at 1700 at 5 o'clock, and the winners will be announced during the awards ceremony this afternoon. But it is based on all the votes that you will cast. So this is your opportunity to have your say and make sure your favoured nominee gets the trophy. We're going to take a coffee break now, and of course, you can use that time to think about which one you want to win and vote for your favourite. But we're going to have breakout parallel sessions afterwards. So here in the Gold Hall, we will be coming back and having a panel discussion that's on EDIHs and the broad European approach to AI policy making. We've got 3 breakout workshops happening in parallel. The first, Common Tools for EDIHs, Revised KPIs and the New Dashboards, is in Studio 202. AI Factories, Fostering Collaboration and Innovation, is in Studios 214 and 216. Green Opportunities is in Studio 213, and as you can see, some of those are full or are almost full. The thematic working groups, there's Digital Health in Studio 204, Agri-Food in Studio 206, and Cybersecurity, again, very heavily subscribed, in Studio 215. So remember, you need to navigate your way to the second floor to find those parallel sessions. Outside, however, there is coffee in the foyers Delvaux, Magritte and Silver, and there are 3 info points. You probably saw them on your way in the Silver Cube hallway. You can inform yourself about the thematic work groups happening this afternoon. AI on Demand, meet and greet the DG CNECT team responsible for the DTA. And finally, if you have signed up to the B2Match application, you need to go to your matchmaking in foyer 205. If you get lost, please ask a member of the team. You will see them wearing the turquoise scarves, and they will direct you to where you need to go. Have a great coffee break, take lots of photos, share using the social media hashtag, and be back at your allocated spot at 16:15. Thank you. which is on EDIs and the broad European approach to AI policy making, which is a huge topic that you're going to cover in quite a short amount of time, so a lot to get through. Now, luckily, I'm handing over the reins to moderate this to Antoine Alexandre-André, who is a lead member of the European Commission's team in charge of AI innovation and policy coordination. And he's directly worked on the AI Act, the CHIPS Act, the AI Continent Action Plan, the Coordinated Plan on AI, and the AI Innovation Package. So essentially, ask him anything. He's going to introduce you to his speakers, have a great discussion, and there will be an opportunity for Q&A. So please, if you're sitting at the back, do move down to the front if you want to take part in that discussion towards the end. But Antoine, I'll hand it over to you. Take it away.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you. Good afternoon to everyone. So great actually to be back in an EDIS summit in Brussels and to see so many actually friendly faces around in the city. Today I have the privilege, I would even say the honor of moderating this first panel of this EDIS Summit 2026 on the European grand vision for AI, and most importantly, how to translate this grand vision for AI into practical expectations for European digital innovation hubs. I'm joined today by a few distinguished guests who will offer insights on the matter from their personal lenses, but also from their professional experiences. So please, welcome on stage Lucia Scioli, Director of the European AI Office, Sebastiano Tofaletti, Secretary General of the European Digital SME Alliance, Angelica Salvi del Perro, Senior Advisors to OECD's Director for Employment, Labor and Social Affairs, and last but not least, Reinhard Wilfert, Managing Director of ISN. All right. So good afternoon and welcome to the four of you to this first panel discussion of this EDIS Summit 2026. So in this first panel, we will cover three broad questions. First, what is the EU trying to achieve on AI adoption? Second, what does this mean for users on the ground? And third, and most importantly, what should EDIs do to support the AI transformation? Lucy, as the director of the AI office, I will directly dive into actually the policy dimension with you. The EVP Henna Virkkunen and Gosia Nikowska shared earlier some hints about what the Commission did over the past year on development, support to development and deployment of AI, notably highlighting the AI Continent Action Plan and the Apply AI strategy. As you are actually one of the main designer and thinker behind this broad grand scheme for AI policies, I would like to very much hear your own thought. How do you believe actually EDIs could support this grand scheme of policies? Why do you consider them so important?
Well, good afternoon, everybody, first of all, and thanks for inviting me. So the question is not a simple one, also because I think that as time goes by, we in the European Commission tend to make the life of the digital innovation hubs more and more complicated. Because we now put all the emphasis on AI, which is basically something that came out of the AI Continent Action Plan and reiterated in Apply AI, reiterated in the most recent tech sovereignty package and in the Cloud and Development Act in particular. And but the reason in reality is not the fault of the European Commission. I think that the fault is really that the technological world around us changes very quickly, and that the digital innovation hubs have an incredibly complicated task because you are all supposed to help the small medium enterprises to adopt a technology they may not be able to master. And as this technology evolves, the task becomes increasingly difficult. So I think that even compared to 2 years ago, the technology is very different now. And I expect also with agentic AI to become even more complex. I would then have to expect the hubs to be able to help companies to navigate these very impressive changes. But still, if the hubs can really help companies at large to at least understand what we call the first AI first principle, if we would already achieve a lot, because obviously if companies really started to adopt AI to solve complex challenges, always in respect of the risk that may emerge, but I think that that would already be a big step. And we see now, maybe we'll talk about this later, how the cyber challenges are such that really nobody can no longer escape from the world of AI, and unless they embrace it, there is to be hurt in a significant way.
Okay, thanks a lot for this. So now turning a bit to Sebastiano. So you know very well about the grand vision for AI adoption in the EU. If we look now at this policy scheme from the perspective of SMEs, does it correspond actually to what businesses need? And in particular, what do you hear directly from your members, which are active on the ground?
Thank you, Antoine, for the question. Well, number one, where I come from is a community of SMEs which are already in the tech sector. So technology SMEs, which are those who actually work with the other SMEs to transfer technology. So they are those who have the pulse of the situation. They are the first to see, let's say, the AI revolution coming, and they are the first to understand, of course, the opportunities, but also the risks. Mm-hmm. Now, I agree with Lucy that the EDIHs have a very difficult task because they are supposed to help SMEs adopt a technology which Europe does not master as well as, let's say, the US or China, let's say, other continents. So this is, of course, becoming a more and more difficult task, and I totally agree with that. We have seen a week ago the tax sovereignty package by the Commission. Very, very welcome, because it does address a fundamental problem of our times, which is how do we make sure we reduce the dependencies, which are a problem from an economic perspective and a problem from a geopolitical perspective. And technology, we finally realize, is not a commodity where we should just buy whatever is there, but we should really consider what we are buying and how we are, or better, how we are developing it internally. Now, again, what should the EDIHs do? I would want to say, to be very clear, I disagree with the solution that was given by a speaker before, I think Ms. Kruhse-Lehtonen, who advised that we basically use what is available out there, LLMs coming from the United States, until the AI factories or something else materializes. I would say this, I think I appreciate the fact that she has put the problem on the table, because it is a problem. We have to give, I think we have a role, the European Commission, the EDIHs, all of us, we have a role to tell the companies, especially the SMEs, what kind of AI adoption should they look for? Because someone has to give a direction. We cannot just let the market decide. This is not possible, because the market, we know in which direction it is pushing. So I think it is a good problem to put on the table. Not sure we have all the answers, but to make it short, when we are asked by SMEs what kind of sovereign solution, what kind of solution that we can control, where the data remains in our hands, what kind of advice can you give? The answer I give is, look, there is something which many clever companies are doing, which is to take an open source AI language model. It may be American, it may be Chinese, it may be European, we don't care. As long as we can install the model on premise or on a cloud that we trust in Europe, and we can run it air-gapped, meaning with no connection to the headquarters. We can train it with our data. That becomes our own model. That is a solution which we believe is technically possible. By the way, we are doing it as an organization ourselves. So I can confirm it is technically possible. And it is something that many clever companies are already doing. So I think we should definitely think about this kind of solutions and have a discussion in Europe of what do we want, what kind of AI adoption we want for our companies. But happy to continue this conversation.
Thank you, Sebastiano. Let me just take a step back and asking you a question rather on the adoption side, Angelica. From your experience, and actually OECD's perspective as well, what does it mean for AI to be integrated responsibly and effectively? In particular, in terms of the changes that should happen inside organization.
First of all, hello everyone, and thank you for the invitation. So from the OECD's point of view and from the evidence that we've been gathering, we think that integrating AI responsibly means using AI in a way that, first of all, respects fundamental rights at work, and then that also ensures accountability, transparency, and privacy. In many ways, we think that some of these rights and issues, such as avoiding discrimination or making sure that AI doesn't infringe health and safety at work, we think that these issues can be dealt with through existing legislation, regulation, and policy measures that are already there and they need to be applied to any technology that is used in the labor market. So for example, if we're thinking about discrimination, there are already a number of laws that need to be respected, and that would apply as well when we use AI. The point is to understand whether some of these tools, some of these regulations, need to be adapted for the specifics the issues that AI may carry. The area, in our opinion, where there's more to do is that of explainability, accountability, because this is linked to the inherent capacity of AI of making decisions or informing decisions, and therefore there's a need for the user to be able to explain this decision, especially when we're talking about measures that affect the opportunities or the rights of workers. We don't need to have a human in the loop for every single use of AI in the workplace, but we do need to have it for important decisions that might affect the rights or opportunities. So one thing that I would maybe mention from our work is that we've run a survey of algorithm management in the workplace, and we asked companies about whether they were already using these tools or not, and what were the implications. We found, first of all, that these tools, especially in their simpler forms, are already quite commonly used among employers, and that many managers that use them find that they have very positive results in terms of the decision of the quality of decision making. But they do have concerns. They have concerns about their ability to understand the recommendations or the decisions of these tools, the effect of these tools on the well-being of their staff, and on the privacy of their staff. We also found that most companies had some measures in place to provide guidelines and governance of use of these tools, but not all had very specific rules and measures. Now, of course, algorithm management is not necessarily AI. They're closely linked, though, so I think this is an important indication of what companies are doing in this space.
Okay, thanks, Angelica. So we know a bit more about the policy vision, we understand the SMEs, what they are calling for, and we understand as well the organizational needs. But now, one, I think, last point is missing to this puzzle, which is funding. Renat, from your perspective, what does it take to turn actually Europe's AI ambitions into deployment at scale? And where do you see the main investments gaps?
I'm from Austria, and my background is innovation management. So what I see in artificial intelligence, it is a real operating system, which was already called today for innovation, but not only innovation, it's for bringing business to a higher level. Yeah. And at the moment, what we see, a lot of companies are investing, bringing more speed to the processes to be more efficient. So I think in 2 or 3 years, that's over. So now what we have to think about is, what is changing in the business models of the company? And that's what we have also to take in consideration, how can we finance that? At the moment, we are measuring a lot of things in input, I would say KPIs to say, okay, how much is invested in R&D? So we make money to knowledge or technology. Where we have to invest is the opposite process. How can we make technologies and knowledge to innovations? And that means products, new business models, new opportunities on the market. And I think that there is a gap where we have to close that with investments. What we try to do is we drive also the Crowd Emotion Innovation Hub in Austria, and we have one work package in these areas, or in which you are sitting, know that this is bring in additional investment from different opportunities. And we have also a work package is test before invest, and we had a rethinking on that, and we make it with the crowd and with crowd investing. And we do not only test before invest, we do test and invest. Yeah, so we invite the people who are at the end of the pipeline and have the opportunity to have new products, new services. And if we buy a prototype 1,000 times, then we also have the market test on that area. So that is also an opportunity to bring in new investment, integrate the audience and the customer side. And I think that's maybe a solution, as you asked, where do the money come from? I think we have a lot of opportunities. We have not the big investment in the US or China has. We are, I would say, in AI, not the first in the body. We were maybe the last one who was also attending that opportunity to come up with new technologies. But I think if you invite a lot of different players, and I also see the network of the EDIHs as a real also investment driver, if we have this opportunity to bring in new opportunities from the market side and to integrate all the different elements, and we have more tomorrow, we have a session on that, what elements can you use for also invest in new opportunities, then I see an opportunity to really be also on a front side where we can solve also the problems which we have at the moment on the market with AI and with the speed. And I never saw such a speed in innovation as we have in these dimensions. For the policymakers, I think you also have to increase your speed. That's the message what I want to bring in from the EDI and from the SME side.
Okay, thanks for this. So I understand more or less the 4 dimensions that we are bringing into the picture. So we talked about policy dimension, we talked about the SME need, the organizational needs, and now a bit the funding. Let me now turn a bit the discussions into how EDIs can concretely actually support actors on the ground. Sebastiano, you already refer back to this. One recurring concern high here, but also a lot of you probably hear from small and larger companies, is very much this problem of dependency, and you touched upon that. Dependency on data infrastructure, dependency on specific providers, on platforms, or on business models. Building on what you said and what the other also speakers said about the different elements, how can EDIs actively connect SMEs with this growing number of AI solution providers? And what services do you believe EDIs should in particular provide to SMEs to support both the selection and then the adoptions of those specific AI solutions?
Okay, good. Look, to complement what I said earlier, obviously I wanted also to mention Mistral. We do have a fantastic model in Europe, and I have all my hopes that this can replace the American models. I didn't want to go without mentioning that because I think it's a success story. But that said, to your question, what we have always advocated for is for the EDIHs not to try to replace the market, but for the EDIHs to help the market. Helping the market means, as you said, connecting with or supporting the connection of the SMEs, which are the demand, with the companies in Europe, which we have, that are offering the solutions. Of course, this is not necessarily easy, but this is where the support measure of the EDIHs is really, in my opinion, much needed. I'd like to say we, as an association representing more than 45,000 tech SMEs in the continent, we have a lot of services in that area. We have a working group where many of our members are EDIHs themselves, and we actually do work related to SME digitalization, to AI adoption, and so on and so forth. One thing we are launching now is precisely what I was trying to say earlier. So, developing a European guidance. How do we adopt AI in SMEs? Because we don't have that, to be honest with you. And we need someone to tell the companies, the EDIHs, their associations, governments, and so on, all the intermediaries, we need to tell the SMEs, how do you adopt AI, right? We have another fantastic initiative, which is the Tech Sovereignty Catalog, which is not ours, but it's something we support externally, which is a selection of European sovereign solutions, which are evaluated by third parties, by independent third parties, according to sovereignty criteria, which are very much in line with the sovereignty criteria that have been mentioned by the Commission in the tax sovereignty package. So we have already more than 150 European solutions which map into the Eurostack. So the different layers of the technology. So we know we have solutions in every one of the layers of the technology. And all of this is made available through events, through matchmaking platforms to the SMEs. So this is the job that we are already working with many EDIHs, and I think there is space for more. This is the job that the EDIHs, in my opinion, are doing and should be doing more and more, because this is what I think the market needs. Support measure in this context.
Thanks, Sebastiano. I very much like actually this idea of bridging offer and demand for EDIs on the ground. Also, actually trying to connect the different initiatives that exist from different associations, but also from different initiatives from the European innovation ecosystem. But it's one thing actually to identify some AI use case. It's another thing to actually fund those use cases in concrete settings. So Reinhard, I'm also once again turning to you, because you are actually already active in EDIs. So perhaps you can bring us a bit more insight on how to support financially those AI projects, which sometimes lack a bit what could be called bankability. What types of financing instruments or structuring approach actually can help, in your opinion, unlock these specific investments needs of AI companies when it comes to the integrations of AI use case?
I think in Europe, every company or almost every company will become an AI company at the end of the day as an operating system or something else. So it's not at the moment the investment gap. What I see, it's more the changing of in the brain, that we have new opportunities and to have more speed on that. And one of the solutions is to integrate, I think, private money at the first step, that you have new solutions, new opportunities, which you have also maybe close together with EDIs, which have the services. In our hub, we have 80 services on different digitalization aspects. More than 50% are going in this direction, implementing AI. And I can give you maybe an overview what is happening at the moment at the SME side in these areas. Normally, when companies come to us and ask what tool should I buy? Yeah, what would you say? Maybe it's the France one or something from US or something else. Or the larger companies have solved it. They say, okay, Microsoft Copilot implemented, ready. That's AI. Yeah, it's not AI at the end of the day because you normally change not the processes and a lot of different things. So the first idea comes normally from the CEO and says, oh, the neighborhood has bought something or is doing something with AI. What is happening at our company? Then he goes to, if he has one, an information technology officer and says, do we have something in artificial intelligence tools? And that's not the cheapest way because normally the information technology officer has no idea what to buy, because everything changes in a real high frequency. And then he comes to maybe to us, to Eddie, and says, what should I buy at the moment? And then we ask him again, what do you want to do with the technology? And then he says, I have no idea. I do not know what are the processes at the background and what are the opportunities in the different business areas which I have. And then we start with the first step, which is really necessary, and that doesn't mean that you need a lot of investment. You need a change process. Yeah? We ask what is already happening at the workplaces, and almost any company has 4, 5 or more people who have reinvented their job in the private area on their own costs. Yeah, is not expensive, and we are already working on a new level in the company, but the CEO or the owner doesn't know it. That's a tricky situation. And then we try to come up with this knowledge and with our expertise to bring that to fly. And we ask all the different people with technology, also which we use for crowdsourcing and so on, to bring these processes and the gaps to the front and to talk about that. And then we talk about organizational change, which is also not the big thing for investing. And then we talk about the technology, because that is the last thing which we have to solve, and that's not the most expensive one, because to change the whole organization is the really, I would say, the big challenge which we have to solve. Yeah. So again, back to your question, I think we have to invest into this innovation process to change the business areas and the business models in the companies. And I think that means that you have maybe more resources in these areas of the EDIHs to do that, yeah, and also bring in maybe new technologies. And also, I like this cooperation with the AI factories, also that we have also the hardware power. And I don't agree with you that we should have only the one model which you have now in Europe. I think that one of the solutions in Europe could be that we have smaller models, really, that we bring the businesses also to a level that they say, okay, what is the real new advantage from AI? It is that we can work with data, with good data. And the question which any company has to solve now at the moment, or to think about, do I have data which is really worth to bring to AI model? Because if anybody works with the big models in US or then we have the same environment. And at the end of the day, we cannot be better than the other ones. Yeah? So we are not the first in the party, what I even said. So I think our solution would go in this, or we go in this direction, that we help smaller companies also to come up with smaller models and also with new opportunities to use this technology for coming up with new business models and so on. And of course, for that we need money, but I think it's not a big investment necessary for that.
Okay, thanks. So I actually hear something that is very close to our minds, which is a need to urge organizations to reflect on their business models first and to try to understand how to better integrate actually, and what could be actually the added value of AI integrations into their business models, right?
Yeah, I think so, because at the moment, what I said before, we try to make our business more efficient. Yeah. And I think in 2 or 3 years, any company who's a little bit thinking about innovation and future technologies will do that. And then it's over. Yeah. So we will be more efficient, we'll be faster. But at the end of the day, I think the competitive advantage will come from data which you share with others, which only you have in your company. And the other one is how can you monetize that with a new business model in the digital area? That's also which we have to solve. And that's, I would say, the real challenge which we have to solve. To be more efficient with technology, I think that's what we're doing since years. Yeah, so that's not the big thing.
Thank you. I see, Sebastiano, you went to quickly react.
Just to say that I totally agree with you, and what I spoke about is precisely small models, essentially, which you do, in my opinion, by installing an LLM on your cloud or on your premise and train it with your own data. And then it becomes a small model because it is trained by you on your data and it runs air-gapped, so disconnected from the headquarters. That's one solution. Maybe there are other solutions, but this is what, for me, is a small model, essentially. So.
Thanks for this additional elements. So we talked about this AI integration, but actually when we talk about AI integration, we are not just talking about technologies, we are not just talking about spirit, we are also talking very much about redesigning workflows or creating new skills in organizations. So Angelica, turning again to you. You already talked about these adaptation needs, but when it comes to what EDIs can do on the ground, how they can actually prepare for and support these kinds of organizational changes needed?
Yeah, so on this I wanted to maybe link back to something Sebastiano was saying, and it's helping SMEs get access to what is already out there in terms of offer to help adoption or learning how to use AI models and so on and so forth. So one specific aspect I would like to focus on is training. In our opinion, training is really the key to first unblock opportunities for firms to use AI and improve their productivity, but also for workers to access the benefits that come from AI. Because we don't see at the moment that AI is leading to job losses at the net level. So on the aggregate, we don't see a reduction in employment levels linked to AI. Most of the firms, even SMEs, tell us that when adopting the AI, their staff levels have stayed stable or even increased. We're talking about 80 or more % of firms that tell us that have stayed stable. But this does not mean doing your job as it was or staying in your jobs. It just means that the number of jobs are not going to decrease. New jobs are going to be created, old ones are going to disappear, or what you do in your existing job is going to change. And for that, there is a need to have skills. So half of the SMEs that we interviewed in 2024 tell us that lack of skills among their workers is the main reason why they have not adopted AI. And only 24% of workers were receiving AI-specific training. So in this case, EDIH can help access existing training. There's a lot that is being already offered by governments, by companies. We don't need to reinvent the wheel, but companies will need to go and find what's useful and what works. And in this, I would say that we also have a problem with the targeted of training in terms of content. There's very little training that is specifically AI focused so far. It's really into the single digits. And within that, even less training that is focused on what I would call generically AI literacy. So only 1% of the population, or a little more than that, needs to be an AI developer or an AI specialist. The rest of us just need to understand how to use these tools, how to understand the limitation, maybe some rules that come along with that, and how to use data critically, how to analyze it. So that's the main type of training that needs to be developed and that companies need access to. So the role for the hubs would be where to find it, what's working and what you can access.
Okay, thank you very much. So now, back to you, Lucy. You heard from Sebastiano, Angelica, and Reinhard. You heard a bit kind of a complex picture about where we talked about change of spirits inside organization, when we talked about actually sovereignty questions, and when we talked also about the needs to modify the types of skills that are needed inside specific organization. Would you say then that the role of EDIs should evolve compared to what you just mentioned before, or would you say that they are already equipped sufficiently?
Well, I do not think they need to, evolve in any significant way, but I think that the EDIC need to be always updated themselves, in the sense that the technology evolves quickly. So I would expect the hubs to have the task to remain on top of the technology as much as possible. And that requires quite a lot of work for themselves to be at that level. But I think that if they have to, and I think, I consider very important, as Sebastian was saying, the role of matchmaking, of going out to find solutions, possibly European-made, and that can actually fit the need of certain enterprises. Skills are needed just to do that. So these skills have to be kept updated. I also think that they should play the role of being able to scale the technology. For example, solutions that work for some enterprises that can also work for other enterprises, and so act a bit as a multiplier of certain technological solutions instead of having to reinvent the wheel all the time. And then when it comes to skills, I would expect them to find the challenge of having to train staff in a small, medium enterprise, which may not be, which may have a different background and a different profile. And so it may sound simple, like you say, oh, you just have to understand how it works, and maybe, yes, with the prompts nowadays, it can be pretty simple to use AI, or certain models at least. But they have to understand where the data goes, but still, I think that in a company, the staff has to do more than that. I mean, I would want to see companies and small, medium enterprises integrating AI in a significant way in their organization, and therefore the training they need is more significant, and the hubs should be in the position of offering this training, because maybe I'm a little bit more pessimistic than you on the labor side, because in the European Union we have this job of supervising the models, and one way to see how capable a model is, you check how many tasks it can do in a certain amount of time, or you compare how an AI does a task compared to a human being, and then you think immediately, but then this task, the humans will not do it anymore, they will be replaced. We are not there yet, or we are there for certain professions, probably. For software engineers, I think that the numbers there are decreasing, so but we have to be careful. All these very cognitive activities can indeed be done by the AI, but then the hub will have the very difficult role to also explain how staff can remain engaged with this technology and offer the empathy and the collaboration that are strictly human and that probably the technology cannot display.
Okay, thanks, Lucy. So when it comes now practically to the implementation, let's say, of the main pieces of AI legislation and policy, so the AI Act, the AI Continent Action Plan, and the Apply AI strategy, you know very well that actually we are moving towards the EDI 2.0. So practically, what would you say to the EDIs out here in the next 12 months? What should they focus on?
Well, in the next 12 months, I think they should still focus on making sure that there is greater adoption of AI by enterprises. Most of the rules of the AI Act are not yet applicable. They will be applicable at the end of 27. So, get acquainted with them, but don't bother too much about it. I think what you should focus on is really understanding and helping enterprises to understand AI, understand how they can use it, raise the rates of adoption, because our rates of adoption are still very low in the European Union. And train the labor force, because I think it's very difficult for people already in the labor force to modify their skills and the task in a significant way.
Thank you, Lucy. Now turning back again to Sebastiano. You heard about Lucy and what should be expected in the short term in terms of an evolution of EDIs. What are your thoughts, and where should the EDIs and even the EU more broadly move next, in your opinion, to support more broadly AI adoption?
Well, maybe I will bring some controversy here, because I understand why Lucy has to say what she said. Of course, moving the policy of a big public body like the Commission from one day to another is not that easy. There's an inertia, and you have to, of course, the EDIH is something that has started a few years ago, and you can't completely move the direction. But I think it's my role to say a bit of a different type of story, because for me, I would be fool if I wouldn't mention this. I think we are living in a real industrial revolution, equivalent to the previous ones, which means that what I think will happen almost certainly is a big shift into of economic power. Economic power, money, and wealth. This is going to go only to those who control AI. Because justification of this is very simple. Look at the evaluation of on the stock market of the AI companies. We are talking about trillions of euros, and they are not making that much money. There's only one reason why the market is putting that evaluation, and it is because, as these very companies have stated in their goal, is to automate everything. Automate everything, it means they will replace the jobs, it will replace the function of all our companies and all our people. This is where they will make the money, right? There is no other way to make money for these companies other than automate everyone else. And when they automate everyone else, it means they will have all the money and all the power. So if we rush our companies and our people with the skills to just use those AIs without understanding the picture, the revolution in which we are living, I think we are doing a big mistake. I mean, look at what China is doing. China is not telling their companies, you need to rush into using these AI models because FOMO, otherwise fear of missing out, no? Someone will be more productive than you. No, they are putting all their bets, providing open source models, which they are, of course, pushing their own companies to adopt. But it's their own open source models. It's not the American models. Because here, it's really a race for who wins. And there are not going to be many winners around. So if we are only rushing our companies and our people to get more skills, to get more AI adoption, as it is right now, I think we are doing a big mistake. I would say better adopt later than adopt the wrong thing, because we are going to go into a big capture. We're going to be captured in an ecosystem where we cannot get out later, and where all our value gets taken from our value, our data, our economic power gets captured by others. So I will be very, very cautious in what we advise and what kind of support measures we give to our SMEs.
Thank you, Sebastiano. I am not sure you are diverging so much. You were saying that in the beginning, but I believe actually with also the first policy that Lucy was mentioning, also this change of spirit that Reinhard was mentioning, we are actually more into this reflection, urging organization to reflect actually on how it could be useful, but also the challenges related to the integration of AI.
If I may, Antoine, just to say, if you see the tax sovereignty package, the very Commission did last week, this is exactly what I'm talking about. And of course, again, I understand why now we have to say, we have to continue to think business as usual. But yeah, no, go ahead, please.
Go ahead. Just to say, I didn't say we have to do business as usual, because in my previous reply, I said very clearly that we should be promoting European solutions, and we have it in the Apply AI strategy as well. So I don't think that anybody here has said, you know, go out and use any model you actually find, give all your data away, as long as you adopt AI. I don't think anybody's ever said that, including in our strategies.
Very glad I hear that from you, because
yes,
I think this is the message we have to give to the audience.
Indeed,
we have to be clear.
And actually, it's a good message to bring actually to the attention to the crowd of today's as well. And now, I think also we lost a bit I would say the point of the discussion, which was also on the AI adoption side and on the role of the network of EDIs. And here actually we discussed actually about several providers or a few hubs or regions that are particularly advanced in AI adoption, in AI developments and deployments both ways. But I'm turning again to you, Reinhard. What could be actually the role of the network of EDIs to try to kind of create a level playing field between the different regions of Europe? What do you believe?
I think that's a great opportunity, yeah, because when I started with the first version of the EDI, when I saw that this dimension which is happening with this proposal writing and all of the different areas which we have to address, I think that's the most important innovation network in Europe in between. Yeah? So we are different SMEs located in the different regions with different opportunities, with competencies which are specialized in different areas and so on. What we didn't have the time in the last period was to interconnect more between these regions, between these competencies. So that's what I want to see in the next 2.5 years, which we have now, to grow and to interconnect the different areas and to say, okay, maybe in Finland there's an opportunity which is much more better than we have in Austria in this area for something special competences which we need. And vice versa. In Austria, we have a great opportunity at the moment with quantum computing. We have a lot of universities who are working in these areas. Maybe other regions can do that. And if we interconnect it, I see that as a real European brain for innovation and transformation in a new era of businesses. Yeah, that's what I want to see. And what I also see with our technologies which we try to also not to have a top-down approach, which is normally too slow. We also want to bring in the audience, the customers, and have crowdsourcing, crowdfunding activities that we also have a bottom-up approach. Mm-hmm. And a network normally is much more faster than a hierarchy. And that's also a point which we see in the opportunity of the EDIs. We have that network already in place. Every EDI has resources. Every EDI has also a process behind. We are the expert network, yeah, not we have a lot of knowledge on that. And now I think the next period, the next months and also years is a great opportunity to bring that competences in place and really have an impact in Europe on that. That's the opportunity, and I don't think that this network shouldn't have the opportunity also to get much more also in the next phase resources to also increase that opportunities and have much more power on that. Because at the moment, the last 3 years, I had one challenge always at the beginning. If I start with on the customer side, or also with the speeches like here, the first thing I had to do is to have a short introduction. What is an EDI? Yeah, nobody knows what that is, and that is still a lack in our system, that we have not much resources for communication in our portfolio, and I think that's what we also can do together. Yeah, if we have a brand on that and we make that more visible, I think that's also a next step which we can do together. Yeah.
Yes, so the EDIs will be very much or are very much built in order to try to increase these connections between the different parts of Europe.
At the beginning, of course, everybody had to come up with his own operating system and partnership agreement and all of the things. Then we have most of the others have two financing parts, which is also a tricky thing, yeah, with a lot of deliverables and all of that stuff. So a lot of paperwork, which doesn't have an impact on the customer side, yeah. And that's what I see as the real big goal, and to say, okay, what is the end of the day, the value which we increase on the customer side? That is what we have to think about, and also I think the policymakers, yeah, to say, how can we increase the speed? How can we reduce the paperwork and bring more impact to the business side? So that's what we have to do.
Thank you. Now we heard about from actually Lucy and Sebastiano, Angelica, that there might be some fears around the integrations of AI in the workplace. I think we are all aware of the potential challenges that AI integration would bring to the workplace, but to the workers themselves as well. But we know that there are some safeguards framework that could be put in place, or capacities that would need to be built inside the organization. What practical guidance should EDIHs provide in priority to support these responsible integration to SMEs, but also to public sector organizations?
So yes, there are concerns, but I also want to set the record straight. I do not think that we should recommend everything is automated. What I said is we should equip people with the skills to understand how to use AI, for what purposes, and how to use it well. So that's a very different matter than saying just adopt and automate your job away. This is definitely not our recommendation. And so in that sense, there's a lot that can be done to help enterprises procure and choose AI tools that respect this principle of what we call in jargon human-centric AI adoption, so that the human is at the center of what we can do with these tools. Make sure that whatever you buy allows you to understand any recommendation or decisions that might be, on which you might base your, as an employer, your decision about your staff, whether these tools respect the privacy of your own data as an employer, but of your workers as well, discrimination, and so on and so forth. So these basic principles that we see, how to choose AI tools that respect them, and then provide guidance on how to put them in practice. So that would be my recommendation.
Thank you, and thanks actually to the four of you for these enriching thoughts, which actually brings me to the same two intertwined questions I would like to ask to each and every one of you, which relates to a concept that the Commission put forward actually more than a year ago, which is this idea of Europe to become an AI continent. And actually, I would like to hear from each and every one of you what, in your own words, that would mean. And in addition, I would like to ask whether you could think of one concrete actions that could support the visions that you are thinking of in terms of Europe becoming an AI continent. And perhaps we can start with you, Angelica.
So I would say helping people understand what using AI means in the workplace. So training, for me, that's the answer.
And for you, the AI continent, what does that mean if for Europe to become this AI continent?
To develop the skills to use this technology properly in a human-centric way.
Okay, thank you. Reinhard, maybe you want to give your own definition?
I want to address a topic which we didn't discuss. I want to see AI integrated in the education system, because here begins our basis for the next generation who will be at the labor market. And it's not about the pupil, it's more the teachers which have to be trained also on that topic, that we have a real, I would say, knowledge. If you are finished with your first approach, with your first school system, you have to have AI in your, I would say, toolbox. Yeah, that's one. And what we also see, that are the drivers which we need also to bring the industry faster to the next level. because the elderly ones are a little bit maybe slower to adapt the technology. So what we also see in the industry, a lot of companies are cooperating with startups and tech companies, and that helps to have a booster like the EDIHs to go faster in this direction. And I think that the younger generation has this driver and this booster also for the next level. So integrate AI in the education system to be really aware for the next step growing in Europe.
And how do you believe actually the EDIHs could support that?
The EDIHs are some of these boosters which can compensate at the moment now this function. Yeah? So if we are a part of the innovation system for a project phase, then the EDIHs can drive this new technology and bring a company, a SME, to a next level. Also the public sector, we are also operating in the public sector, and we see we help them to adapt faster the technology and come to the next level of the service quality and then also for the business model. So I think that's the role of the EDIHs, and if you're interconnected, I think we're a real strong network to bring Europe one step further as a region or as you said, a continent for AI.
Thank you. Sebastian, I'll turn it to you. So you already mentioned a bit probably, but go ahead.
I would like to see, my dream is to see that we Europeans believe that we can make it. And by saying that, I mean, I'd love to see that we are able to create a market that really demands European solutions. Because if you go to US or China and try to sell a European solution to government or even to private corporations, it's going to be very difficult. Whereas in Europe, we have always been open, we've always been buying whatever was there. And if we change our mindset, starting from the public procurers, the so-called Buy European mandate, and going to the private sector, I advocate for what we call SME digitalization vouchers, support measures that can really create a market for European-made solutions. Because if we believe in ourselves, we can absolutely make it. We have the companies, we have the capabilities. We are not a desert. Huh? We have a lot of talented people. We have a lot of industry. We have everything we need. The EDIHs, they can absolutely support the startups, the innovative SMEs in finding customers, finding clients, local authorities, corporations. Whoever wants to buy technological solutions, they should look at what is available from our own companies. Because very often these are very innovative solutions that then the Americans will buy. So why can't we buy our own solutions? That's my dream.
Thank you. And last but not least, Lucy, would you have your own definition of what Europe should be or how Europe should become this AI continent?
Well, for me, the definition is that we should have capabilities to develop and also to use AI in a way that we can trust, so that we have, I do not believe in complete autarky in the technology, in this particular technology. But I think we should at least have some choke points that we can exhibit in a geopolitical context if needed. But certainly, I think we have the skills, we have the talent, we have the research knowledge to be able to also develop very advanced AI. And that we should be, learn also then to use this kind of solutions but in a trusted way, so without giving out our data, without, and taking into account the risks the technology can bring, because again, I don't think it's a neutral technology.
Thank you, Lucy. So openness, but still put in place our safeguards, if I understand you correctly. So before we close, we still have a few minutes. So would there be any questions from the audience? It's now your moment to actually take the opportunity of the presence of our distinguished guests. So there is one, yes? On the left after. Probably a mic could, yeah, I see. And please introduce yourself quickly, briefly, and then also...
It's not on. Oh, no,
yes.
it's on. Okay.
Thank you.
So my name is Eva. I work for the Swedish Agency for Digitalization. And I'm also a member of the AI ecosystems subgroup and the Digital Europe Program Committee. And I have a curious question for the Commission. What's the timeline when the European Commission themselves start to use a European solution for our video conferences? And if you could decide what kind of solution would that be? From what company?
So yeah, go ahead, Lucy.
Well, unfortunately, it's not my responsibility, and I don't have the possibility to choose. And believe me, it's not only the conference calls, it's also other software that we use. So that would need to be. But I can tell you that, of course, the reflection is there. And I think with the tech sovereignty package that we published last week, it's an important step. And I think that slowly, you know, we're a big organization. I strongly believe that slowly this is also going to have a significant impact on our organization.
And I can add that actually, as working as well for the Commission, we see also, even in our own work environment, a change as well in the types of software that are being used, and we see more and more, where possible, the use of European solutions. Any other questions? Yes, I see one in that part of the room.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Martina Legal-Malakova. I am chair at the SME committee at business at OECD. I'd like to ask Tanya, head of division of European Investment Bank. You described it exactly, the sharing of data by data spaces, and before you spoke about why we don't use marketing for well-known about EDIH. And my question is, why, when you describe data space, why you don't use terminology? Because the European Commission invests $3 billion. Sorry, I spoke in about America, euro. And I think it is really crucial that we use the good terminology. And after to Sebastian, exactly, I completely agree with Tanya about this terminology, and now we will change the name of EDIHs, that it will be the centers of excellence in this new Cloud and AI Act. What I heard now as a discussion, maybe it's wrong, so it is the question. Thank you.
Thank you. So Tanya is not with us
but
today.
It was sorry, there is no name when you speak.
Yeah,
sorry,
probably
sorry.
it was
It was for the man in red.
yeah, so Reinhard.
Sorry.
Yes.
The rebranding, what you said?
No, because when you explained that we should use the data in secure way, that we will be always the owner of data, and it couldn't fly in China's or in American solutions. And in Europe, we call it data space, okay? Yeah. And my question is, why you don't use this terminology? Because exactly, it's really important to use for SMEs always the same terminology, and we are in implementing phase now on data spaces in health, mobility. European Commission really push these solutions, and was the question that please, when you describe the something what we want to use and everybody want to use, so it's important to use this terminology.
So I think here it's more about the use of these existing initiatives, notably the data space or the data labs, which are about collecting those data together from different...
In our hub, we have a solution for data spaces, focused on tourism, and I see a great opportunity. We do that in one of our regions to collect all the data, to combine that, have use cases, and use this data to bring up new opportunities for the providers of tourism services and so on. So that's what we are doing at the moment. Data Hub, I think it's not so well-known, I would say, topic at the moment. The big challenge is at the moment not the I would say the words on that. It's more to find out use cases which you really want to bring to fly, because everybody who brings data in wants to see the money for that, but he is not the first who is doing that because he's waiting that the other one is starting sharing data. So that's the big problem what I see in the data space area. So that's what I see at the moment. Why is it not the big topic at the moment? But I see also an opportunity that the different hubs could collect such data across all over the different regions in Europe. And if we could also have a process behind with artificial intelligence to share that and to bring it over this also service-oriented approach that you have also smart contracts and all of the things on the topic, then I think that's also a part of the business model what I already mentioned at the beginning. Yeah. So I see a great opportunity. And the wording, I would say, yeah, that's I would say for the hubs, a real big problem. Yeah, we have all the European project speech in the project, which is not really necessary to have a successful project at the customer side. Yeah, so that's also something maybe we could change, make it easier, make it simple, make it useful for the customer side, and that's maybe what you want to address.
That's definitely one role of the EDIHs to explore, which is this how to translate a bit as well sometimes this European jargon, if I may say so, into something that companies can understand. But I see that, Sebastiano, you wanted to react.
Just on the previous question from Sweden, a couple of good news. I don't know if people have noticed. A few days ago, the European Parliament voted a resolution to move away from Google as a search engine to Quant. So they will move 700 plus MEPs and all their offices. They will have to look only search in Quant, which is, I think, a European solution from France, and it's a very good idea. The second good news is that a couple of months ago, the Commission awarded a tender for their own cloud to moving away from a US hyperscaler to a new situation, which is a federated approach, meaning they will get the service from 4 different consortia composed by a number of companies. Large majority of them are European companies, which is very good news, not only because they are sourcing from European providers, but because the Commission is demonstrating that it is actually better to source not from a single provider, where you have a big dependency and a big risk, because if they fail, everything fails, but to source from a federation, an aggregation of companies. Because in that case, you build a much more resilient system, because if one fails, all of the other can replace, and each of the different 4 consortia provides different services. So you have probably a better solution in the end. It's a bit more difficult to orchestrate, right? But it is better, not only because it's European, but it is also more secure. So it's a very good practice, which I think is good to talk about and to replicate perhaps at the national level.
Indeed, going step by step towards this AI continent, also focusing on our own internal processes. So thanks to the 4 of you. That's it for the panel. I hope it was enriching. I think we can go over here.
Let's go and see whether they want to jump on straight away. Do stay. We're going to wait to let the colleagues from the other parallel sessions come and join us, and then we will crack on with the awards ceremony. So don't leave. We will be getting started as soon as the rest of us have joined the room. Could I please ask those who are still arriving to make their way over to the front? There are plenty of seats over to the left of the stage. Just hurry in to your seats so that those coming behind can get a seat, and also so that the worthy award winners have a warm round of applause that they can hear from the front. So do make your way quickly. I'm conscious we have people following us via live stream, and they are waiting to see when we will start with those awards. So please, if you're towards the back, make your way down to the front and take a seat as efficiently as possible. So we don't delay too much further. We'll begin in just a few minutes. Easier. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I hope you had very fruitful parallel sessions. I know in some cases it was hard to tear yourselves away from the interesting and informative discussions, and I know there's a lot to share, but fortunately, we have another full day tomorrow for discussions. And now we are going to turn to the official awards ceremony and really honor those whose videos we looked at earlier. You saw some of the great work that is being done in the EDIHs. And to help me with this awards ceremony and to present the awards themselves, I'm going to be joined by Lucilla Soli, Director of the EU AI Office, under the auspices of EU Commission DG CNECT Department. So, Lucy, thank you so much for joining us. I know these awards are very, yes. They're close to your heart because you've been following along. Now, what you can't see is behind here, we've got a series of envelopes, and we're going to have a little bit of a moment of bated breath, and then, Lucy, I'm going to hand it directly over to you to give the award of excellence. So, you can use this microphone.
Thank you.
Not an actual drum roll, but a psychological drum roll. So please open the envelope and reveal the winner.
So the winner of the Excellence Award is AI Instead of Waste, EDIH, Germany.
Very well done. Move over here so we can get some good photographs. A quick word to say what it means to you and why you think you won.
Wow, we're very proud. Thank you very much. Thank you to the jury, and thanks to our team in Dortmund who has implemented this project. We are very surprised, and yeah, wow, I'm flashed. So I'm happy to to receive this award. Thank you very much, and Kamar can also say something.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, thank you for being part of this community, and I'm so happy to see so many familiar faces here, and I'd like to use this nice opportunity to continue the exchange, and if you want to collaborate more with us also, join us in September for the EDI Days in Dortmund. I'd be very happy to see some of you, so just reach out to us, and we are very, very happy, and thank you to all of you and also all of our team online, hopefully. Yay, we did it!
Thank you very much. And can we please also get the runners up just to get some certificates and also have their photograph taken, because it was very tight and a difficult decision for the jury. Have we the runners up in the room as well? The other nominees? I can't see you. Yes, come up. Make your way up, Olga, please. We have certificates and we have photographs. Thank you so much for the others. And a round of applause, please, for all the nominees. Okay, our photographer is here. I'm sure he will get a photograph of all of you with... Okay. Ready? Everyone say cheese, and everybody else give them a lovely round of applause, please. Thank you. Very well done, ladies. Thank you so much. We're going to move on. Lucy is going to stay with us because we have, as you can see, plenty more awards to give out. But we're now going to have a special mention for the Excellence Awards in the Best Green Initiative. And we have to present that. We have Dusan Koenig, who is Principal Advisor for the Green Transition from DG Climate in the European Commission. And he's been many, many years at the Commission, so he knows why these awards matter. So, Dusan, say a few words if you want to. There's a microphone here, and then the all-important envelope at your leisure.
Thanks a lot, and also thanks for the invitation. I'm really glad that I can give award or special mention for Best Green Initiative. And we really count on innovation hubs, on companies that they will help us to fight the climate change. And there is a huge potential. There are some estimates telling that we can reduce emission by 5 to 10% by 2030 by applying effectively AI. And European digital innovation hubs, they can really help us to promote AI solutions, to help also companies to use it. So there is potential. It's clear there is evidence that AI can reduce emissions, but now the question is how and whether we are going to have infrastructure. And European digital innovation hubs are essential in this process. So this evening, can I open the envelope?
If you've got the special mention, yes.
Yes, so this evening, actually we are going to award one hub that is already transferring this ambition, green ambition, towards concrete actions. And Best Green Initiative, the award goes to the Location Innovation Hub from Finland.
Please join us on stage to receive your award. Dusan, you can do the honors of handing it over, the certificate.
Yes.
Thank you
And
very
maybe
much.
also...
No, it's this. Is this certificate?
This one.
Yes. Auntie, come over and join us here. We need you for the photographs. And Dusan and Lucy,
Maybe
you can...
also to mention that why we selected that.
Yeah.
Because really, Location Innovation Hub is using Geo-AI to help businesses to use better AI, advanced AI solutions based on location, remote data, navigation, and geospatial AI. And what they are doing, they are not selling products, they are creating infrastructure, and afterwards they connect, they analyze, and really provide essential help. And that is something really crucial. That it's a really excellent example how open public administration is helping companies, and also it's helping green transition, fighting the climate change, and providing essential support. So big thanks to the Location Innovation Hub. And this award is really an expression of our gratitude for your excellent work and what you are doing for the companies and society. Thanks a lot. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Antti. I think Dushan's probably said it all, but if you'd like to say a thank you to your fellow nominees and to the EDIs that you've been working with. Yeah, come a little bit forward so we can. Yeah.
So thank you for this great recognition. The Geo-AI courses that we have published have been rather popular. I would invite you to go to our website, have a look. And actually what we are doing at the moment is that we are translating those to German, translating that to Spanish, and maybe to Polish as well. But there might be some other languages coming. Have a look.
Watch this space. Thank you very much, Antti.
And maybe only to mention that I look at the website and I read also reactions of companies. There are more than 700 companies already working with the Location Innovation Hub. And what struck me, they show that there is no pre-packaged solution. They speak with them, they ask questions, and afterwards they guide, coach, and connect. That's great.
Thank you. And thank you, Dushan. Your enthusiasm is very, very clear. So, Lucy, you're staying because we still have 3 more awards to announce. The next 2 awards are the Digital Maturity. These are KPI-based awards. There's 2, so I'll let Lucy take it away once again. So
there we go. The winners are Service Volume, RoboCost Finland, and DMAT, ADLV Latvia.
Do we have our winners, please? It's a long walk. Yes? Very well done. Who would like to say a few words on behalf of the Latvian EDFI?
Well, thank you very much for this award. So that was unexpected and a huge honor. But I will not lie, and I will not say that this is not well deserved. I think we really deserved it, and. And usually in such situations like in an Oscar ceremonies or so, people say thank you, and usually the first thank you goes to team. And again, I can't think of anything better. So really, big thanks to EDIH team who did a huge job and went well beyond and extra mile, serving our customers. And here, this is for team.
but not only for team, and I would like to say a big thanks to our national stakeholders, which is Ministry of Economy and Ministry of Smart Administration and Regional Development, because our stakeholders put Latvian EDIHs in a role to serve national digitalization grant programs. So, and therefore we managed to do a lot, and with a lot I mean serving and consulting more than 8,000 SMEs, and also serving around 250 test before invest projects. So I think this is also for that.
And we will hear from our other winner as well. So very well done to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And as you already know, Robocoast EDI loves DMAs. It's our solution to discuss with our customers, SMEs. Thank you to all of our customers and also to our consortium. We have 14, now 15 applied sciences and universities inside our consortium. We are so really happy and love DMA.
Thank you all. Thank you very much. Another set of well-deserved winners. And we are flying through this afternoon because we are at that final award stage, the EDI Community Award. More than 700 people voted, and it was very, very close, I can tell you. So a lot of fingers were typing frantically onto Slido to come up with our winner. So Lucy, without any further ado, the winner of the
so the winner
public
is actually
vote.
Plural, and it's EDIT NEB, Czechia, and EDIC Madrid region, Spain.
One report and two for different offices
Sorry. Very well done and very enthusiastically won. So congratulations. I think we see the advantage of working together. Yeah. Or maybe we could have a timeshare arrangement. You can have it for 6 months. So, absolutely. Let us get your microphone. Tell us how you're feeling.
Absolutely excited. Thank you very much. Thank you to the audience for this award. It's absolutely an honor, but not only honor, it's a commitment for further work. And as mentioned before, I would like to thank to our team back in the Czech Republic, in Liberec, to our region as well, and of course to our colleagues.
Well, thank you to the audience for the votes, and thank you, of course, for the team. There's been hard work after behind this trophy. We think this trophy is quite important because we have made, all of us have made a project that impact in real people with real problems, with special necessities, and this very awarded too. We think that this is an European project. We have a project that was born in Madrid with a startup from Madrid that works with a French product to apply to special necessities, and we have been able to use it not just in the first case in the Colegio Gauden, but in Czech Republic too. So this is a transversal project that makes some meaning to the EDI network, you know. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed. I'm only disappointed that we didn't have the cute robot on stage to receive the award. But I said it was very close, and we would like to invite all the other nominees to please join us on stage for some certificates.
Well, yes, we have some runner-ups that we have to call here. And so we have, always under the Community Award, we have Kedi from Italy.
we're going to
have
be... Yep.
EDIH Finn from Finland. We have DH4 Cat from Spain. And Iris from Spain as well.
Thank you, Lucy. You have a lot of awards to hand out here. It's going to be a very full stage. So I think it's a good opportunity for everyone to get their smartphones out and take photographs of all the nominees and the award winners for the Community Awards. And Lucy, you need to be in the photograph as well. So another big round of applause, please, for everybody on the stage. Thank you all very much. Lucy, I think that's our work done for this evening. Do you want to say a couple of words? I know that you're impressed by all of the nominees.
In fact, I'm impressed by all the nominees, but I'm just impressed by the whole crowd. And I want to thank everybody for really staying here also for this ceremony. And what we see is a lot of commitment, a lot of dynamism, a lot of delivery. And so I can only encourage everybody to keep it up because we're going in the right direction. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lucy. And I can only echo what was said, and I need you all to keep it up for tomorrow as well. So we're at the close of today's event. We're going to take a final photograph, and I will give you all the minutes and details how to do that in just a moment. But I do want to remind everyone that there will be a reception happening outside after we finish with the photograph. So please do enjoy yourself, but not too much, because we are starting bright and early tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock for welcomes and coffees to get everybody started, and then here in the Gold Hall starting on stage at 9 o'clock. After the photograph, although everybody else can go off and enjoy a network and a drink, could I ask that the winners please stay behind and direct themselves to Karen Clements, who is on the DTA comms team. Karen is over here. You'll be able to find her. Because she's going to conduct some interviews with you and really make you feel very special, because we are all so impressed at everybody's hard work for today. Now, photographs. Everyone can stay in their seats, but could you all please stand up in your seats? And strike a pose. Okay, so, okay. So, if everyone keep an eye here on the camera. Let's go for 3 photographs. Let's do a serious business face first. All right, very serious business faces, everyone. Very happy awards faces, please. And finally, your best Instagram influencer pose. Are we good, gentlemen? Another minute, another few smiling faces. I am secretly not in any of these photos. You see what I've done here? Thank you very much. And give yourselves a great round of applause. Have a lovely evening. See you tomorrow.